So very briefly, I want to explain this a little more with a fancy drawing, and sometimes it's easier to understand with a picture, which I should have done the first video, but anyway, um, this is really key to kind of unlocking the mysteries of gravity. Is what is it actually doing? And so down at the bottom we have these two opposing forces that create the stable orbital path, or the solar pressure of the sun and gravitational pressure pulling inward planets toward the sun. Um, so these two opposing forces find this equilibrium point based on the mass of the planets and the size. So smaller, denser planets, like Mercury, tend to fall toward the inner solar system, and larger gaseous planets tend to get pushed to the outside because they're less dense and much more massive. They're getting hit by a lot more solar radiation. Uh, there's a lot of other factors at play. This is just a simple, kind of simplistic view, but I believe this is the main factor, and it's probably taught in the higher levels of astrophysics, and I'm just unaware of it. I am an amateur, and it's just not something that's probably taught on the Discovery Channel or something. Um, but I like trying to figure things out myself, so this is what I came up with. And I haven't really created a formula or anything for it. I don't really care. But to me, the main takeaway of this is that if we acknowledge that this is a reasonable argument, this is true, that we have to acknowledge that gravity is doing work here against the solar radiation pressure. Gravity is continuously doing work. The Earth isn't just falling around in a circle, it's actually pulling toward the sun. So if the sun weren't if it weren't ignited, it would be creating the solar pressure needed to push the planets outward. Everything would continue to fall toward the sun until it was massive enough to ignite and create solar radiation pressure. So it kind of helps to explain solar system formation. It's kind of key to understanding it. But to me, the main takeaway of this that I really care about is that gravity is continuously doing work. And if we acknowledge that, well, we have to ask, well, where is gravity getting the energy to do that? It can't come from nowhere. So there has to be a reasonable explanation for this. And I believe it's a matter of perspective. Like I've said before, gravity attracts at an accelerated rate on the small scale, or relatively small scale. So on the large scale, the universe is expanding at an accelerated rate. It's the opposite but equal reaction. And that's where gravity gets the energy to do these things. It's not really uh, borrowing energy. It's just the whole universe is a perpetual motion machine, you might say. um, so if in understanding this is key to understanding that gravity can be gravity can be manipulated, and it should not violate the conservation of energy law. And I think that's the main thing to understand from this. And I'll go further into the other things about it, but this is kind of key to breaking through this mental barrier of thinking that, you know, it's not possible. I could be wrong about all this, of course, but I think this is the key to it. So there's that.